Hey, everybody. It's Michael Osinski.
And it's also Tyler Esselman.
And you are listening to and or watching This One Goes to 11.
This One Goes to 11 is our podcast where we invite someone on each week to make their case for what they believe is a perfect album.
So perfect that 10 out of 10 just isn't good enough.
Nah, not good enough.
No. Oh, you know what? I was going to think of something for banter.
You're going to have a bit?
I was going to have a good bit. It was going to be...
It's a meta bit right now.
Well,
this is so meta. I love it. It's it's so real.
But see,
it's like if Mark Duplass was our creative director, right? That's what it is.
Well, then there's our bit. I was going to invoke, remember when I had you watch Taskmaster?
Yeah, I love Taskmaster.
At the beginning, Alex Horn does a bit of banter, and it's usually bad. It's usually real, just or it's a dumb game or something. So
he's little. He's Alex Horn. He's little Alex Horn.
I was going to try and invoke my Alex Horn, which that sounded dirty in some way.
Yeah, it kind of did there.
Yeah. All right. Well,
all right, there goes the explicit toggle gets turned on for this episode. So that radio button is going on. Thanks for coming back, everybody. We like making a podcast and we like making it for you. And it is all about you, listener or viewer. We hope you're enjoying our musical journey. Per usual, we're up to more shenanigans this week, and I think there'll be I think it'll be shenanigans in here, don't you?
Sure.
That's the feeling I get.
Yeah, that's a good I like that word.
Yeah. Well, and you want to know why it's going to be shenanigans? It's because we have Josh Tyson on the pod this week. Who is that, Michael?
Originally from North Carolina, Josh is an actor who has been living and working in New York for over 20 years. He also was a musician in a past life, and he didn't put this in his bio, but I'm going to add it. I know him because he was in the Zoom production, which I know you're thinking Zoom production, but it was good. Zoom production of the play A Twist of Water for Passage Theater Company, which also featured former guest on the pod, Kashia Nixon.
Friend of the pod.
Hi, Josh. How's it going?
Hi, I'm on.
You're on. You're here.
You're on, baby.
You're here.
You're in. You're probably in a few seconds before that. You're just letting you.
All right, just
letting
sitting there
you listen
nodding.
to.
Yeah. We'll leave it in. We'll leave it in so people can really get to know who you are. Yeah.
Pleasure to have you, Mr. Tyson. Pleasure to meet you, dude. What's going on? You doing all right? You ready to make some magic tonight?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We can do it. I know you've been waiting. We're adding to our nerdy white guy collection.
Well, I emailed when you reached out, Mike. I told you, and I meant this. Ever since you started this podcast, I was waiting for the invite, and days and months and years went by, but I knew it would come.
It did. It had to. And I can attest to the fact that you've been on the list for a while. But
good.
This is just it takes some time. Take some time to get through 12 episodes in a season, or that's what we shoot for. So, but we're really excited about this album, and I had a feeling this one would be coming at some point, and I'm glad you're able to speak to us about this particular album. So why don't we cut to the chase here, Josh? Will you tell our listeners and viewers what album hath thou brought before the This One Goes to 11 tribunal this week?
I have brought Neutral Milk Hotels in the Aeroplane Over the Sea.
Yes. Love this album. Look at me. Of course I love this album. This is so on brand. This is so on brand for us. Michael, do you have a love for this album too?
Not a love, but a familiarity. Calm down. All right.
Yes.
All right. Not because we'll get into it. I think because this, if we were making a Venn diagram of my musical taste, there's a tiny sliver or something this kind of glances in it at some things, but it's not angry enough, and it's not, and there's not enough electric guitar for it to be a real.
That shit's plugged in. This shit's plugged in.
Well, it's plugged in. It's jacked up real high too because of the recording thing. But
there's a lot of angst in there.
There's angst. There's angst, but I don't know there's as much anger.
Okay.
But no, hey, look, I'm just saying I don't love it. I didn't say anything about anything else. So
Right. That's just the
y'all stop
shallowest
ganging
level
up on me, all right?
Don't worry.
God.
Listen, I'm coming back to your side of the table, okay? And Josh, you're going to start building your case to retort,
Yeah.
to make a response to
Great.
that somewhat, that was a he was unenthused.
All right.
I mean, it's strange. I don't know a single nerdy white guy of our age that wouldn't put. In fact, I texted my buddy today and I said, "Hey, I'm going on this podcast where we discuss perfect albums, and I'm doing this album." And he said, "That's my number one."
Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
okay. So it's out there. We're all over the dot chart. Like there's different. We could do a dot chart of this at some point. But Josh, for any of our listeners out there who aren't nerdy white guys of our age, and who may not know what a neutral milk hotel is, we do have a convenient segment to get them caught up. Don't we,
great.
Michael?
Yes, and it's called A Beginner's Guide to Neutral Milk Hotels in the Aeroplane Over the Sea in 60 seconds.
Yep.
And Tyler's going to do it this week. And so, Josh, your job, should you choose to accept it, which you will because you have to, is you get to evaluate Tyler's case, how well he does at consolidating everything we need to know about Neutral Milk Hotel and this album in just 60 seconds.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about this one. I might have gone a little too long, which surprise of all surprises. But
it's been sort of the season trend. We've been going long on these.
It has been. It has
60 to 90 seconds.
You get a little bit of stoppage time.
Well, no, but there's a timer, so if he goes over, you'll know.
Okay,
he can't hide it. He can't fake it.
All right, you stop. Now you stop setting the expectations low for me. All right.
Are you ready, Tyler?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, 60 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go.
Don't worry, you don't need to know what a neutral milk hotel is. Even Jeff Mangum, the reclusive heart and soul of the band, can't or won't explain it. After recording the debut Neutral Milk Hotel record on Avery Island with longtime collaborator Robert Schneider and a skeleton crew, Mangum sought a crack squad of musicians to tour with him and ultimately help him bring in the Aeroplane into the world. Enter Julian Coster, Jeremy Barnes, and Scott Spillane. After touring together, the quartet set up camp in legendary music town Athens, Georgia, so Mangum could bang out the tracks that would become In the Aeroplane before joining up with Schneider in Denver to put the thing on wax. What did it sound like? Lo-fi, at times grotesque modern fables, strung across Mangum's throaty warble, braying horns shrouded in distortion. The record dropped and found praise in certain quarters, but it would take the crockpot of internet discourse to eventually bring it to an audience wider than Mangum could have expected. The adulation would bring out Mangum's misanthropic nature, and the band has remained an elusive presence in the years since. But few who love indie rock would argue that Mangum & Co. gave us a seminal classic of indie rock.
Yeah,
all
man.
Right.
That's awesome.
Not bad. Came in. All right, Josh.
Okay.
How do you do? How would you can score him, you can grade him, you can give him a qualitative feedback. It's up to you.
I'd give him an 11 out of 10, I guess,
Hell yeah, buddy.
No, it's funny.
for.
It's funny. What was interesting about being asked to do this is, this album is, well, it's older than 25 years, 25 years. But I think I first found it 25 years ago. And I didn't really know any of that stuff, because, it was like a pivotal album in my life. And then like you put them away and then tracks will come up, you'll hear them. But like being asked to do this was the first time I kind of did my own little deep dive, certainly a multiple re-listens of this album, but also learning about Jeff Mangum. Is that Magnus? Mangum, Jeff Mangum.
Mangum, yeah.
Should be Jeff Magnum, right? Like that's
Yeah.
That's a porn name, but
probably already taken. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really fascinated to hear about all that stuff, which kind of makes sense. I mean, the album itself lives in this kind of has this mystique to it because it's kind of like, where did this thing come from, and where are these people who wrote for me this incredible album? And the fact was they weren't around. This guy put out this, for me, a masterpiece and just vanished and stuff, which was really cool. I read that they got together and they toured a little bit, like 2010 or 11 or 12 or something like that. But nothing like that.
So okay, well, this is you're there's so much to mine here, but before we get too deep on Mangum and his merry band of misfits,
Yes.
we do want to talk about you a little bit to kind of set the scene for us, because we want to know about what your relationship is with music before we talk about this specific album. So give us a sense of how music exists for Josh Tyson on a day-to-day basis, writ large.
On a day-to-day, it's I think about this. I don't think about. I think about this a lot. No, but and the thought has. This isn't the first time I've thought about my relationship to music, and so like I kind of have an answer in the chamber. It's like so like when I was a kid, from 2nd to 5th grade, I rode to school with my mom because she taught at. She was a teacher at my elementary school,
Nice.
and we listened to the oldies station, which in the 80s, the oldies were 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
It
doo-wop.
was doo-wop. It was the
Yeah.
Beatles. It was. And this is very applicable to this album. It was, it was four chord songs with great melodies, and stuff. And so like that's really, I think to this day is kind of a foundation for my taste, and
Motown. You get some Motown in there, like
Motown as well too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, just really strong melodies, catchy. That's what I freaking love. And of course, like as music has progressed, like I mean, we talk about Nirvana. I mean, Nirvana was infamous for like writing Beatles songs and just like distorting the hell out of them.
Right.
There's
I
bands.
love that, don't you?
What I
They're
really
great.
love now, and I don't want to go too tangential, but like I'm bringing up the band like Shame. I don't know if you've heard Shame at all.
Shame.
Michael, you would like it. Very angry
Okay.
stuff. I'm going to send you the album. But
Writing
like,
it down.
yeah. But bands that like kind of almost mask the melody, but it's in there and you hear it after a few listens. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean that's really is the foundation for my taste. And then so like of course, music. I had a guitar. I'm a generic. I'm a generic fucking white guy.
Generic too.
Okay,
Generic over here.
It's like,
but
I had a
Josh,
guitar in high school. You know what I mean?
But Josh, were you that guy who would show up to parties and break out the guitar?
No.
Okay, good.
No. Never.
No.
To this day, I have this is a funny. Like I remember. A friend of my wife's came to our apartment. I have a guitar, obviously, and he like decided to pick it up and start playing. Like, don't be that guy. Like, if you walk into a room and you see a guitar, don't touch it. Just go home and do it by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear you play guitar.
It's true. There are reasons to pick up a guitar in somebody's house. There are reasons to do that. Be invited to do it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man.
Be invited to do it. That at the very least.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
How serious were you about it? Like when you first picked it up, were you like really driven to get good at guitar and like?
No, so like no. I mean, again, I'm an actor. I'm not trying to work hard at it.
Sure. Yeah.
No, it's funny. So I think I was in like in 8th grade and wanted to play guitar, and I think my dad bought me this cheap acoustic guitar, and I went. Oh, this is funny. It's funny when you get older, you're like, oh, I totally forgot about that. I had guitar lessons for a very brief amount of time. And I remember the guy taught me this song. It was like a Civil War song called Two Little Boys. Not Two-Headed Boy, but Two Little Boys. It was
Two Little Boys.
And it went like, 2 little boys had 2 little toys. Each had a wooden horse. Daily they played. You can cut this out if you want.
I love it.
Summer days, warriors, and the story was about like the kids, and they play and they go off and they fight each other in the Civil War. But I remember that it was like a G chord, an E minor, an A minor, a D, and like a C. And then like I learned that, and I was like, I'm done. I'm off. Yeah. And so I don't need anything else. You know what I mean? And this is applicable to this album,
Yeah, that's so funny.
This is very applicable to this album. And any rock music from the 50s and 60s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even today in a lot of ways. And so I started writing music, really bad music, like in high school, I think my first song was called like Angel. I think I was like in a Jimi Hendrix phase. And it was like, his song. I think he has a song, Angel.
He does.
Got to.
But yeah, no, I continue to kind of write for myself. And then in my 20s, I was in a band, generic white guy.
What was it called?
Oh, this is funny. So it was called Jaguire, Jagwire. And it was called that because I told my writing partner / bandmate at the time. I think we were pretty good, by the way. I think we should be called Jaguar. And because I'm from the South, he thought I said Jaguire. And he was like, oh, let's call it Jaguire, which is always funny to me because it's kind of like the that thing you do where they're like, we're the Oneaters, you know?
We're
It's like,
the
just
Wonders.
call yourself the
We're the
Wonders or
Wonders.
whatnot.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's
but
so
yeah.
funny.
And so I still write music for myself. I mean, I don't play. I've had little like spurts of inspiration and have gone to like some open mics here and there. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I just kind of like.
How would you characterize the Jaguar sound?
Again, it was heavily influenced by 50s and 60s
Really?
rock and roll. Yeah, totally.
That's cool. Were you trying to do that as a thing? Were you trying to be like, let's write? Was that the idea behind it, or did it feel like you were writing like a modern song? Like, what was how did that
well, so
approach happen?
it was me. Again, we're so young. It was me and my writing partner. I mean, I'm 20, whatever, 4 or something, and we're like John and Paul, right? It's just like John and Paul.
Just like John and Paul.
So like we had two very different, but our tastes overlapped a lot. So I think you got some of his and some of his. I mean, there's one song I have that it's just what I like and what I write, and so like it wasn't intentional. Like, hey, let's try to bring that sound or anything. It's like, write the stuff that you like, and so I think it
totally
just came out that way. Yeah,
especially when you're doing it from like a guitar forward angle. I feel like you're playing, especially if you're not like singing songs in like a style of a certain way. You're playing guitar in the way that you just organically like to play guitar, I think.
Right. Yeah, right. Totally.
So that makes a lot of sense that's how your sound just sort of found its spot.
So do you remember when and how you discovered this album specifically?
Well, I was shocked to learn that this album came out in 1998 because I was like, I don't think I found this album until like 2000, 2001 or whatever.
See, I thought this album had come out earlier than that, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Feels like a 95er, doesn't it?
Yeah, feels like in that, because don't they say 1994 is when all the best albums of the 90s came out or something like that? Like
I thought it was 97.
Yeah, I don't know.
94 was the Benz.
People say that.
Right? Wasn't 94 the Benz?
95.
95 was the Benz.
Think,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway.
Yeah, it does. 98 was a funny year. I feel like.
Right. Well, that's like transition into like TRL and like, yeah, it's a strange time.
Yes, it's very strange.
And I never really, like, if you were to ask me what was a song that came out in 1998, I wouldn't be able to tell you one. Like, I could tell you some for a few other years in the 90s, but I don't think I could just name a song that came out in 1998 off the top of my head. Well, now I can tell. Now I can say Neutral Milk Hotel, of course.
Right,
But,
right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I was listening to like at that time.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. So my memory of hearing this for the first time is getting picked up in college. I'm pretty sure I'm 95% sure I was drunk and or high, and getting into my buddy's car. My memory is that it's a white car. My memory is this. My friend Chris McSween. So if he ends up listening to this, shout out to him. But it might none of this might be true, by the way. But my memory is getting into the car, and whoever was in the car was playing this on their CD player. What's that? And it was truly, and I was trying to think. It was truly one of those moments where it's like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? It was like, I need this. I need to have this. You know what I mean? Right. And that hasn't happened. I was trying to think of the only other time that's ever happened that I can remember that happened was like, and this was one of my options, was hearing Built to Spill for the first time when I walked into a CD store in Greenville, North Carolina, and they were just playing on a thing. It was like, what is this? What is this? I need to have this. And so that's my memory of first hearing it. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. And it's such a weird, like, I feel like if you were drunk and or high in that moment and you were getting into that car, and then I'm imagining if the volume was loud enough and it's like one of the thrashier sections of this album, you'd just be like, what the hell, dude, what's going on in that car?
Stuff. It had all the stuff, the feeling stuff, like all of it. Yeah.
How do you approach an album when you fall in love with it? Is it the guitar first that you hear? Is that the thing that you like kind of like locks you into an album, or is it the vocal quality? How do you enter?
It's always like semi-simultaneously the music, whatever it is, and like I said before, like the melody. Like and I'm such a melody
You like
whore.
a
Like if
line.
you, oh yeah, if you have a good melody, throw some minor chords in there. Oh, like you've got
Ooh.
me hooked. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
it's so it's always that. I mean, I like just good old classic, clean rock and roll music. Not saying that that's what this is, but
Right.
like, I love jangly guitars. That's what Built to Spill or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do love affected voices, whatever they may be. You know what I mean? Not like emo, like Good Charlotte affected. You know what I mean? But like
Sure.
something that comes from somewhere. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um,
Are you a Jeff Buckley guy?
I've never done a deep dive. I mean, we've all heard,
there's not much to dive into.
Hallelujah. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
One album.
Yeah, it's there's a fine line, because what's so funny about his voice as well is that it's so particular, right? Like
Right.
this vocal quality is very much an acquired taste. I think I think that there is something that's very unpleasant about it, in almost like a kind of Southern Gothic kind of way. In
Of Jeff Magnum, not Magnum.
No, Mangum.
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 Yeah.
Mangum.
I'm gonna say Magnum the whole time.
Manja,
Yeah,
manja.
Laura, my wife hates those voices. Hates them. Like
Really?
hates stand them. Yeah.
What
I
is
mean,
it?
it gets me every time.
Yeah,
What's
what is
that?
it for you? What about his voice? What about his voice?
I think it's unique. I mean,
Yeah.
unique, distinct. I mean, this particularly, and we can go a little more in depth, is just how personal it sounds. It sounds very, very raw, and like it's like he's singing from the depths of his being, and not just his being. And this is going to get kind of, but like from some universal us, or you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It does.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, like, in response to that, like, if the voice itself sounds personal, it feels like the lyrics are very obscure. Like there's just something, like, I know you mentioned in the 60-second thing, like kind of fable a little bit. Like there's something, there's he's like storytelling, but like if you try and like put together the images, it's hard to figure out exactly what he's singing about. I mean, like I will say a couple things that I as much as I do like listening to this, that always jar me a little bit is like on the second song when suddenly he's singing "I love you, Jesus Christ." That comes out, and then also there's 2 songs on this album that reference semen, and I'm like,
Correct.
Demon stains the mountaintop. What a beautiful turn of phrase. That's incredible. That's incredible.
I think I said at times grotesque.
yeah.
You
It's
know?
true.
I guess
Totally.
I'm just wondering, like, what if when, like, is it the melody that grabs you about this? Is it his voice that grabs you more, or like at what point do the lyrics become part of the package?
Okay, so this is a lot. I mean, we can unpack a lot.
We're ready.
Here. Okay,
Go for it.
so
Yeah,
no,
we're
it's great. It's great. So let me start with, in general, I'm a huge lyrics guy. Like lyrics are very, very important for me. But for me, like I have a friend who can listen to a song and then like know all the lyrics on, like, after the first. Like the lyrics are the last thing I kind of that kind of get inside me most of the time, because you can't even understand what they're saying. I mean, Tom York, you never know what the hell he's saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the melody that he's singing, right?
Yeah.
It's the melody that you're singing, and then it's only when
Yeah.
you go back and, I'm from a time where you used to have to get the booklet, right, and read along. Hopefully,
Liner
if they
notes.
put the lyrics in the booklet, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
totally. Miss
So
liner notes. I
right,
miss
so
those.
yeah, right, exactly,
Yeah,
and artwork,
totally.
Yeah.
But so it's melody, right? It's that, but then, like, I think musically too, and for someone who specifically, as it pertains to this album, and I keep pointing over here because I have the lyrics pulled up here over here. I'm
Yes,
ready to
yes,
go.
yes, yeah. Read them, baby. Yeah. Show your work.
What's incredible, and at the same time infuriating, as someone who writes music on his acoustic guitar, is how fucking, do you cuss on this app? Do you cuss?
Yeah.
You cuss?
You already
Oh,
have, Josh. It's
Oh, am I?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck. How fucking simple some of these songs are. and yet it drives me crazy. I mean, the first song, you know, dun 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 dun. That's like Wild Thing, you know what I mean? It is so simple, you know. But then when it comes in, da 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 da, and then when he takes it up, da 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 da, when he could dare to try. You know, and so the songs are so simple. And like me and my friends who I have a few friends that write music, all say the same thing. It's like, how it's such a simple song. Like it's like, why can't I write that? You know what I mean? Why can't I come up with that? It's so brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, to the lyrics, specifically about these lyrics, Michael, and what you were speaking to about how kind of obscure and these images, it's like, I think obviously, yes. I mean, there's obviously some abstract images that he's going with in playing, but like, I still think that the emotion or the themes that he is talking about, and again, you know, music, art is always going to be interpreted by the person viewing it or listening
Of
and stuff
course.
based on
Yeah,
their
yeah.
own experiences, of course, you know.
Yeah.
It feels, and his voice, going back to his voice, it still feels like it's a very personal song. He just happens to, you know, it's almost like he took very personal stuff that's going on with his life, that's going on with him emotionally. And we should talk about Anne Frank. I had to learn about
I
that or
was
whatnot.
going to
We'll
mention
talk
that.
about that.
Yes. Yeah.
But whatever he's feeling, and then just put it through like a Salvador Dali filter. You know what I'm saying? And so it doesn't make the lyrics any less. You know, it's biblical in a lot of what, you know what I'm saying. And there's a lot of religious references in here.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't make it less true. It's just a heightened way of storytelling. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, and also when you know that he was inspired by the Diary of Anne Frank, and you listen to a song like Holland 1945, and if you didn't know that, the lyrics would seem just kind of like obscure and poetic. But then when you kind of like focus on that and interpret everything through that lens, it becomes this like very powerful and also like kind of disconcerting song, because that's a very like
Totally.
jubilant song. And if you're
Yeah,
thinking
totally.
like, oh, this is a song about Anne Frank, you're kind of like, whoa, like what am I
Totally.
supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
I want to get onto that, but before I wanted to speak back to one more thing, the "I love you, Jesus Christ" stuff, right?
Yes.
So like, and again, like the you know, the viewer is very much engaged in the art, like so. I come from a very religious background. I mean, my father was a Methodist minister, grandfather. My grandfather's 7 brothers. You know, like, I mean, I grew up in the church and stuff, and so like
In North Carolina too. That's
in
no
North
joke of a
Carolina, right?
church.
Yeah.
Totally. I
Oof.
mean,
Yeah.
so it like. For me, the interpreter, based on my own experience, bringing it to it, it's like simultaneously like ironic, facetious, but also really, you know what I mean? It's like all those things. It's like you find there's a reason, I think, when for the good artists, I think when you say a line over and over again, you know what I mean? It like takes on different meanings the more you say it, you know? So it's just like, I love you, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Like it's Jesus Christ, I love you.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
That's his Louisiana showing. You
Oh
know,
yeah, he's
that's
from
the
Louisiana too. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
he's a Southern guy.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, I'm gonna invoke there's something about that kind of like biblical, that kind of it makes you think like a line, the way he sings the King of Carrot Flowers makes you think that it's a story we all know. You know,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah,
oh, you're
right.
like, of
Totally.
course. Oh yeah, I was like, I remember the King of Carrot Flowers. Yeah, that
No,
was
it's
like
true.
my freaking neighbor told me that or whatever. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what a King of Carrot Flowers is. There's
No
something
clue.
timeless and elemental about it.
I should say too, it's like, you know, these thoughts that I have, I mean, these have only come to me over the past, like, since you've asked me to be on this, because like my initial phase was like, just like that is like, I'm just singing when you were young, the King of Carol. I don't know what the fuck that means, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just a great song, you know what I mean? But
Totally.
I've never really, that's, I mean, that can't be true. I'm sure I, I dove deep in my 20s and stuff, but again, lots of drugs, lots of alcohol
Got to do it.
in the youth and stuff. And so like, revisiting this has been real. I mean, again, like, you know, personally, there's a lot of stuff in here that speaks to my own to myself and where I was in my life when I was listening to it. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? That actually like was giving me like goosebumps, like revisiting it a little bit, just being like,
Nice.
oh, geez, you know.
That is something that's the definition of staying power. I feel like is something
Yeah,
that can make you reflect, not only reflect on like what you're doing now, but what
yeah.
you were like really where you were back then on an emotional level.
And that's what's great about music, right? Like, I mean, as an actor, like I use music to drop me in because like music will, I mean, it'll take you back to like, you know,
Oh right,
2001 when you were a senior in college. You know what I mean? It
yeah.
drops you immediately, you know.
Hmm. We chose you. We asked you to choose your standout track from the album. So Josh, can you share with our listeners what do you consider the standout?
My personal stand, I mean, it's littered, man. I think you could pick anyone, to be honest.
Hmm.
But for me personally, my standout track is Two Headed Boy.
All right. So if you're listening and watching on YouTube, just stick around for a few more seconds. And then, because you're probably watching it on our conveniently created playlist, right?
Like we highly suggest via
Like
the
we highly
playlist.
suggest you do. That's our recommended method. So then you'll get to hear Two-Headed Boy here in just a second, and then come back for part 2 afterwards. Peace.